Hey everyone, it's Matt, and today I'm going to be exploring the world of Elden Ring, also known as the Lands Between. Because this is a relaxing, in theory, ASMR video, I will not be focusing on things like combat and scary places, but instead trying to go through a relaxing ride, if you will, on horseback and probably sometimes on foot, throughout the game's many different areas, at least several of the ones I've unlocked so far. And because I am a decent bit into the game right now, I do want to warn you that there are some spoilers regarding what various areas look like and kind of the scale of the game, at least as far as I've unlocked it. So if you want to go into this game completely blind, this might not be the best video for you, but if you don't mind a little bit of location spoilers, you might enjoy it. And I'll be trying to avoid enemies, but given that this game is full of things that are trying to kill you, that's not necessarily going to happen the whole time, so I'll try and keep things relaxing, but you get the idea. Anyway, how about we get started? So we have my character here. I have actually put him in different clothing, different armor, than I normally wear, because the armor I wear normally is maybe a little bit of a spoiler. So I have him in this kind of nice looking knight armor. This is the Carrion knight armor set without the helmet, because I did want to show off this glorious mustache. But yeah, enough about me. How about we walk outside into our first location, Limgrave. Now, Limgrave is the starting area of Elden Ring. It's where you end up after you complete the opening section in the tutorial. And as you can tell, it is quite beautiful, really. Compared especially to the other games by this developer from software, such as Dark Souls and Bloodborne. This game is a relative breath of fresh air with wide open colorful vistas and lots of foliage and so on. And those other games are full of bleak, dark, gloomy, depressing cobblestone castles and blood-soaked streets and all that, but this game is in many ways a lot like The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, where it is full of nature and a wide variety of huge open areas to explore. Except pretty much everything is trying to kill you in this game, and will very likely succeed until you get good. So how about we just start walking around? We'll get on horseback in a little bit, but there's something especially nice about just wandering around on foot. We have the giant moon up there, as well as the Erd tree. And the Erd tree is an ever-present thing in this game. It is visible pretty much from anywhere outdoors. It is a humongous glowing tree. I'm personally not too familiar with the lore explanation of it, but like in the Dark Souls games, there is quite a bit of lore that can be gleaned from exploring the world and talking to NPCs and reading item descriptions. And it's actually quite interesting if you really start to pay attention to what's going on. But yeah, if you've played the game, you might notice that there's a certain enemy missing from this starting area. Thankfully, I have taken care of them already. But they are a roadblock for many first-time players who do not realize that you're probably meant to just kind of go around them and come back later. So that's my bit of advice if you are starting this game. If you see a rather hard enemy running or walking or riding back and forth through this area, do yourself a favor and try sneaking around them instead of fighting them, at least until you have more levels, more high stats, and a better weapon. As well as other things, such as, well, I pushed the wrong button, but such as this spectral steed named Torrent. Now, Torrent is what the game calls a spectral steed, which you are given early on in the game, and it is a bit of a cross between a horse and a deer, maybe. I may be wrong on my assessment of that, but that's what it looks like to me. And you can use this to ride around throughout most of the game. There are certain areas where you can't, and they'll be pretty obvious, but for the most part, it helps with exploring areas nice and quickly. And you can even do a double jump, which is kind of cool. You can also pull out your sword and attack things from horseback, which can be pretty useful in certain battles. But I'll put my sword away because that's not very relaxing. I'll only take it out if I need it. Let's take a look at this goat here. Hello, goat. How's it going? Or should I say, how is it goating? You afraid, goat? What's the matter? Why are you running away? That's okay. Now, let's go explore some more of Limgrave, I suppose. We have some, what I believe are eagles or some other birds sitting here. And if you go down to the shoreline area here, you'll see we have this giant troll. Let's try not to aggravate him. It seems he's aggravated, but that's okay. Let's just run away and he'll forget we were there. The level of aggravation the enemies get, or the ease with which they become aggravated, is perhaps heightened while on horseback because you're a bigger, more obvious target. When you're sneaking around on foot, they don't notice you from as far a distance. Now it looks like it's started to rain, but we're just wandering around down the beach here. A nice, scenic, relaxing area, like much of this game when you're not being attacked. And as you might have noticed, we have these kind of sparkling footsteps over here. I personally have not figured out what these are. I've seen them in a few places around the world, but I have not made a significant attempt to determine what they are. But that's okay. Like many things in this game, the joy and the satisfaction are in exploring and experimenting and figuring out what you're meant to do. This game, compared to most other games of this open world nature, does not explain very much. You kind of have to figure out things on your own. And it doesn't give you a map full of markers, though I've obviously unlocked a lot of stuff that shows up on the map now, though there's a huge section of the map I have not yet unlocked. But the joy in this game, for me, is in simply exploring and not knowing where I'm going instead of having to go from point A to point B all the time. And yeah, you get the idea. I believe this here is an enemy. If I was to get close enough, they would be aggravated, but because there's an item there and I'd like to see what it is, I'm going to break my rule and attack them and get the item. Because this is a relatively low-level area, I believe, because it's right near the start, I don't imagine there'll be much of a fight, even if I do aggravate them. Which I won't, because I'll simply stab them in the back and kill them in one hit. Anyway, now I can acquire these smoldering butterflies, which are a crafting material, and pick up this item, which is a strip of white flesh, another crafting material. There's a message here that was left by another player. Let's see what it says. Could this be a fire? But seems familiar. Well, that is indeed a fire, so I will applaud this message. It is a good, accurate message. And what about this one here? Enemy. Yes, this is also accurate. The fun thing about the messages in this game is they are often very goofy or misleading, but they are also often helpful. And if you rate them good, the person who wrote it will in that moment receive a refill of their health bar, which can be helpful if they're in the middle of a tough fight. These are all pretty obvious things, but they are useful messages for first-time players who I believe may stumble into this area within minutes of starting the game. If you've never played any of the Dark Souls games, or Bloodborne, or Sekiro, or anything like that, this game can be especially intimidating and difficult, so every bit of help is a good thing. We have these rather creepy-looking giant octopus things here. I'm not going to aggravate them, but I'm going to keep going down the shoreline here. We have another crafting material here. Some rune fragments. And we have here what you may already know is a dog. There are many dogs in the world of Elden Ring, but this is perhaps the most important dog. And to make sure that no one misses this dog, I'm going to write a message in front of them so that the dog is extra obvious. So how about we go with this? I suppose a dog is an enemy in this game, so it might be under enemies, yes. So it's going to be a dog. Oh, dog. Behold. Dog. And I'm going to add a gesture of triumphant delight, because everyone loves dogs, right? So now other people playing online will be able to see this message when they approach the turtle. Dog, oh dog, behold dog. And if anyone likes that one, I will receive a refuel of my HP. A very enjoyable little multiplayer system they've got there. I'm not going to deal with these guys, but I wonder if I'm approaching the end of the shoreline. I actually did not attempt to explore this area when I first started playing. This world is huge and has many places you can go, so it's always interesting to explore places that you've not been. We have a merchant here. Let's see what they say. I don't want any trouble, he says, but I accidentally skipped it. He has some items to neutralize things like poison and blood loss and sleep, as well as some cookbooks for crafting recipes, but I don't think I want any of this right now. Instead, let's just keep exploring. And let's see if we can find the end of the shoreline. Maybe it'll wrap around to the other side. These are some enemies here, these creepy little blob things. They have a surprising amount of health. And here's a nice big waterfall. But because you can't swim, I'm not going to go that way. Instead, you may be wondering what this is. This is called a spirit spring, and if you jump into one while on a horse, this will happen. You'll be able to jump very high, which is quite a bit of fun, as you can see. And now we're at the backside of the place we left at the beginning of the video. So let's do some more exploring. Let's just go straight on ahead on horseback. I'm going to move at a bit of a faster pace now, so we can see a wider variety of areas. because if I was to walk that slowly through the parts of the game I've unlocked, it would take many, many hours. And here we have the Church of Ella, as well as an item I apparently never picked up. That is a golden rune level 2, which will grant me a certain number of runes, which is the currency you use to buy things and level up. And here we have another site of grace, which is a place where you can save and level up and do other things, as well as a merchant, and a, I don't know what this is called, but it is a sort of anvil where you can upgrade your weapons and armor. But let's keep going in the general direction of the Erd tree. What is over here? There are quite a few ruins all over the place. It would be interesting to figure out the lore reason for all these falling apart buildings and structures. I imagine this might just be a cliff over here. So I'm going to turn around and go in the other direction. And worth noting is, with the size of this world, you don't necessarily want to travel everywhere on horseback, and you can fast travel from most places to any site of grace that you've found. So traveling around in this game is actually pretty quick. You don't have to go everywhere on horseback or on foot, which saves a lot of time. Excuse me, sir, I'm just coming through. I'm just going to come through the forest here. Don't mind me. And we're just going to take a look over here. This is likely the first large enemy camp you'll stumble across. There is some interesting and valuable stuff in there if you manage to take out the enemies or sneak around. But then after that, there's quite a bit to explore. You have eastern Limgrave, as well as southern Limgrave, and the many areas beyond those regions, as well as Stormhill Castle, which is up here. So I'm going to go approach Stormhill Castle, and I will warn you ahead of time when I come through this gate here. A giant troll will come falling from above, so don't be scared. He is waiting up there for me, and he took me off guard the first time I played this game. But if you are just careful, you can go around him. Not that I recommend the first timers go around everything in this game, because an important part of playing the game is killing things and getting experience points and leveling up. And without that, you can't get more powerful. And as we approach the Stormhill Castle, we have a large pack of wolves falling from up there on the cliffs, but we're not going to bother with them. And this is the edge of Stormhill Castle, protected by these guys, who I will also skip past. And I'm just going to go to the first major part of Stormhill Castle and turn back to not really spoil the interior of that for you. Excuse me, fence. Excuse me, people. And as you can see, I can't be on horseback in here, but that's okay. I'm just going to run through. And this is a place where, if you have already played the game, you might be very, very familiar with this very spot, for reasons I will not elaborate. But as you can see here, we have Stormhill Castle, which is the probably first major legacy dungeon you will do in the game, at least of this size. And it is quite an important area with several required things to do before you can continue in the main story. But I'll leave the exploration of Stormhill Castle to you if you play the game. And instead, let's go back outside and explore some more. To make things quicker, I'm just going to teleport to Stormhill Shack instead of walking back out through those enemies. So now we're back in Stormhill. I'm going to get back on my horse, and instead of going left up here, I am going to keep going up the road, or under the bridge I would say, because yes, the road does go up there. We're just going to go on through here and see what's past this bridge. It's become a bit windy and foggy, but you can still kind of make some things out. What's this message say? Praise the trio. Let there be friendship. Now isn't that heartwarming? So as you can see here, there's a bit of a dead end. Seems you can't proceed in this direction past Stormhill Castle without finishing your way through Stormhill Castle. So before we go in that direction, how about we explore in the other direction, more southern or western. There is a bit of variety to the weather in this game, and there is a day and night cycle. Night is especially pretty, with a starry sky, but you'll see that when it becomes night. Don't pay any attention to those spooky looking bats. They will not pose any threat right now. How about we try jumping down here? We have another large troll. And let's go this way. Despite my probably 40-something hours in this game already, there are many places in these starting areas I have yet to explore. Sounds like we've got some more wolves. And what's this here? Here's a shack with a site of grace that I've already discovered, but I'm not entirely sure where I am geographically. We have over here quite a few giant trolls, but they will pose no threat. I'm just going to leave them be. How about we jump down here? As you can see, that was a bit of a far fall, so I took a little damage. Now we're having a bit of a lightning storm, so we got to be careful not to get hit by lightning. But a lightning storm does give us fulgur blooms, which are a somewhat rare material for crafting items. That said, I don't do a whole lot of crafting myself, so I'm going to ignore it. So as you can see here, this man on horseback wants to kill me, and because he's on horseback, I should probably fight him so he doesn't keep chasing me. Because this is a low-level area, he's not going to pose much of a threat. But let's get rid of him. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to get off my horse and do this. Sorry, Ram, I didn't mean to kill you too. But you did give me a sliver of meat, or that might have been the horse. Alright, bro. That's what you get when you start fights. Anyway, let's keep on keeping on. Let's go in this direction. We see another man on horseback over there. We're going to ignore him. And it looks like it might be evening almost. The sun is starting to set. There's another man over here. Let's ignore him. And there are a few minor Erd trees, as you might have noticed. Basically smaller versions of the giant one over there. I do not know the lore implications of the minor Erd trees, but they're still pretty cool nonetheless. So how about we go over this bridge here? These guys have been notified of my presence, but that's okay. I will outrun them. And I'm going to go this way to stay out of the way of the man on the horse. And we have here a large cart being pulled by a couple of trolls, as well as a band of warriors and so on. If you have not already seen these carts, which I have, they contain valuable items in the back, so you might want to kill the people around them and get the item out of the back. It can be very useful. We have here, I believe it was called Agheel Lake, a rather peaceful lake with nothing to worry about whatsoever in it, so I would recommend you go explore it on your own to see exactly what I mean. See? No large enemies or anything like that, nothing to worry about. There is a crab over there, but I'd say that's a normal size crab. But anyway, let's keep on keeping on. We have some ruins over here that I've already explored. And I would say do yourself a favor, and when you find ruins like these, explore them thoroughly, as you'll often find interesting underground sections with valuable treasure chests and so on, especially over here, but in many other places in the game. Now that we're done with the Agheel Lake, let's keep going this way. What a beautiful sunset. You can't really see the sun, but that's okay. And another giant waterfall, as well as the ocean. This is a rather pretty game when you're not being actively attacked by everything under the sun. How about we go this way? Or maybe not. This seems like a rather large fall-off. Alright, let's go back up this way. We have here what appears to be a sort of spirit who has left something. And that something is the incantation scarab. I'm not entirely sure what that is, so let's take a look at the inventory. It is a headpiece. Interesting. It decreases most of my stats. It is a golden scarab worn directly on the head. These scarabs roll clumps of incantations during their labors. Slightly reduces the FP cost of incantations, but increases damage taken. As a scarab approaches death, it abandons its rolled treasure and stretches its wings wide for the long journey to its home nest. So, what this does is it makes magic cheaper to use, but at the expense of your defenses. An interesting trade-off. If you're able to keep your distance and not get attacked, you can do more long-distance attacks on enemies, which could be useful. We have some more rune fragments over here, and as you can see, my message was appraised, so my health was refilled. Not that it needed refilling anyway. Even though I got hurt earlier, I do have a talisman equipped that very slowly refills my HP when I'm not getting hit, so it has refilled on its own. Alright, so let's keep on trucking in this direction. And it seems there is a scarab ball over here, I think. Well, I don't know what the official name is, but these things often have valuable items and so on. But I should probably take my sword out before I try attacking it. And while I'm at it, I'm surrounded by crabs, so let's kill some crabs. Note that if you are fighting these crabs in your game, and you have not put 40-something hours into the game, they will put up much more of a fight than that. They will have much less resilience to your attacks, and they will do much more damage to you. But I am quite leveled, as you can tell. Sorry, crab. It had to be this way. I won't kill the little ones. But it seems I let the scarab ball run away, unfortunately. I'll have to come back here another time. But anyway, let's keep going in this direction. There's another site of grace over there. And now let's go south in this direction. So up here is a rather interesting thing. It is a collection of these very strange creatures, I guess you could call them. I don't even know how I'd describe them. But these are often surrounding what are known as Everjails. And I've already cleared out this Everjail. But Everjails are places where you can interact with this thing in the middle. And when you do, you'll spawn a boss, or a mini-boss, that you can then kill for a special item. In this case, this mini-boss gave me the sword, which I am now using to this day. It is a very good sword, in my opinion. It is the Bloodhound's Fang, and especially if you upgrade it, it is a very powerful and hard-hitting sword. So I'm wondering what this talk icon is for, because I've already cleared this out. So actually, I'm going to edit that part out. I did use the talk action and figured out what that was, but it turned out to be a bit of a spoiler for the middle of a quest line, and I don't want to include that in this video, so I've skipped over it. But look at that view. Isn't that beautiful? I think I'm going to make a thumbnail out of this, maybe. Unless I can find something prettier to use. Let's get a better angle on it. I do wish I could have my thing not centered, but that's okay. I'll make it work. Anyway, how about we go this way? And you can jump down into a spirit spring to avoid damage. So let's do that. Now let's keep going south. Actually, you know what? I'm going to stop here because this is a somewhat stressful place to go through. As you can see, it is rather fortified. And I think in keeping with the relaxing theme of this video, we should go the other direction. So how about we teleport to the place past Stormhill Castle and not further east, because as you might be able to tell from the grim red coloring over here, this is not the most relaxing area of the game, and I want to go in more pretty relaxing directions. Anyway, let's go over to the lake-facing cliffs just outside Stormhill Castle. So, just past Stormhill Castle is Liurnia of the Lakes, which is one of the other major areas of the game. And at first it looks somewhat similar to Limgrave, but as you will quickly see, there's quite a few differences in terms of the scenery and the things and creatures you'll find. So let's wander on through. It appears to be of a lower elevation than most of Limgrave. As you can see, with Stormhill way up there. But let's go around this camp, shall we? Obviously, we don't want to fall down there. Even though there's water, we would die. Because we can't swim. And I've picked up a golden rune. But a large majority, I would say, of Liurnia is this rather large lake full of trees and magic crystals everywhere. Which is a very pretty place that I've actually not done a ton of exploring in yet. So I'd like to do a more thorough exploration of it one day. There are also some unusual and sometimes intimidating enemies in this area, but I'll try to avoid them. There's one of them right now. If you're asking yourself, Matt, is that a giant lobster over there? The answer is yes. So let's not draw the attention of the giant lobster, who will pick me up and stab me in the face over and over again. There are, of course, in keeping with the theme of many areas of this game, plenty of ruins in the water, as if this area was once not flooded and the water level has risen. Makes it a rather interesting and scenic place, full of water and the color blue and the color gray. But it is very, very large, larger than you might think. We have here some enemies that I'm going to ignore, and I'm just going to keep going in this general direction. These enemies on horseback can pose a bit of a threat, but they are easy enough to go around. As you can see, we have another giant octopus ball thing here, but I'm going to go right past it. Oh boy, it seems I've triggered a mini-boss fight of some sort. This death bird. As you can see, the death bird is very creepy, and I'm going to run far away from him. Running far enough should make him despawn, or at least stop chasing me. And this boiled prawn shack has a site of grace I have not activated yet. Like I said, I haven't explored this place very thoroughly. But you can tell it's not been activated because there are several strands of particles of light flowing around it, which are meant to call your attention to it. So now I can rest here and teleport to it whenever I want. So this one is called Boiled Prawn Shack. I wonder if there are any boiled prawns nearby. I know they exist in the game, but I've not found any yet. Could these be boiled prawns? Didn't expect a gorgeous view, says this player message. And this one says, beautiful, oh beautiful. These people really love boiled prawns. And no, I'm just glancing at your boiled prawns, you beautiful boiled prawns. I definitely don't want your necklace. I don't know. Oh, I know what this is. So, there's a very minor quest here. And, I don't think it's major enough to call this a spoiler. There's just an NPC nearby that asks for help getting her necklace back and says that someone stole it and is hiding out at a house nearby. So this is the house, and this is the man with the necklace. And he's also got a bunch of boiled prawns. So to kill two birds with one stone, I would like to get the necklace and the boiled prawns, and I imagine I'm going to have to fight him for it. So let's have him give me the necklace. I guess we have a deal. feel like I want to try something. Well, it's only 1,000 runes, which is not much on my level. So why not? Let's see if anything good happens as a result of not killing him. So now we have the predicament that I have forgotten where the person with the stolen necklace originally was. They were in this area, but I'll have to go looking for them another time. But let's talk to this guy one more time, see if he'll give me or sell me any boiled prawns. Yes, I do. Smells delicious. Let's see. Well, I don't have the runes on me right now, but I do have golden runes that I can use to get the runes. And the boiled prawn boosts physical damage negation for a time. Boiled prawn meat, a prime specimen of plump and moist meat. True connoisseurs know how to keep from over-salting. Boosts physical damage negation for a certain duration. The meat actually looks to have come from a crayfish. Not that it matters, it's delicious all the same. So how about we ask him about Raya, and then I'll use some golden runes to buy some boiled prawns. That's not very nice of you, sir. But let's get some boiled prawn. Let's just use 4 of these. And talk to him. I am very hungry. I'm going to buy 2 boiled prawns. Delicious. Yes, I can. You mean that thing? You never know. Yeah, I don't think so. You seem like a bit of a jerk, but he did give me the spread out gesture. So now I can do this. I can take a nice relaxing nap. Look how relaxed I look. But anyway, let's go exploring some more. Off in this direction. We have some rather strange enemies over here, as you'll see. They look a little odd, kind of like a mix between men and frogs. They're just staring right at me like, what are you looking at? They're not particularly aggressive if you don't get too close to them. But let's go in the direction of the minor Erd tree over here. I don't think I've been too far this way before, so I'm not entirely sure what's over here. Actually, I might have been this far before. I don't feel like checking the map right now, though. I think I'm going to finish up with this lake area soon, just to increase the amount of variety in this video, because as you can see, it's a rather large area that looks kind of samey, at least for the purposes of an exploratory video like this. But let's see if there's anything in here. Yes, there is. A smithing stone level 2. Always nice to have. So now let's go up here and see what else we got. There's a minor tree there. And a major one over there. I believe I've been up there before, actually. I came from the other side. And here are some jellyfish. I've never actually attacked one of them. Ah, we have another scarab. Let's get this one. I missed. There we go. That gave me the Ash of War sword dance, but it also triggered the aggravation of some bats. So let's kill the bats with my very large sword. Not so bad. Let's keep going down this path and see what we have. More bats. But I'm just going to go right past them. This seems like it could be kind of a secret area over here. It was somewhat hidden. Oh, this seems like we may have a catacomb down here I've not discovered yet. Visions of Night, and then Wolf. I think I know what that is. It's referencing Dark Souls, perhaps. Ah, door. So I want to enter this place and activate the Site of Grace so I don't forget it exists. But I'm not going to explore it today because the catacombs can be rather creepy and stressful and require a lot of combat. So we have here the Roads End Catacombs, which I'll explore another time. But anyway, how about we go somewhere entirely different? Let's see. What place looks different? Alright, this place is much later in the game than these other areas, so again, spoiler warning if you are concerned about some later game areas, but let's go to the Altus Plateau, which is a somewhat different looking area in the northern area of the map. So here we have the Altus Plateau. It is, as you can see, notably closer to the Erd tree, but still not particularly close. And as the title implies, it is a rather large plateau. So let's just wander around and see what we can find. This here is a cliff overlooking Liurnia, but it's a little too foggy to see it. Or perhaps it's more in this direction. This is actually a rather large elevator I have not activated yet because I need another item to do so, but I found my way up here either way. So yes, it's a little foggy, but as you can see we have a wide panoramic view of Liurnia, and to some extent part of Limgrave over there, and maybe even Caelid if you look far enough. But let's continue wandering around Altus Plateau. I like these very sharp, jagged rocks up here, these mountains. I'm not entirely sure if I've explored up there. I believe I have, at least part of it. But it does look cool. And over there in the distance, you might be able to see some windmills. That area almost reminds me a little bit of Bloodborne, which is pretty cool. Let's put away my sword. We don't need that right now. Just wanted to get those golden runes. So moving on up here, we have some rather large enemies I'm going to run past. And what's on the other side? This is the Lux Ruins. I've already cleared out the Lux Ruins before, so I know what's over here. I don't remember the exact layout of this area, though. It's one of the places I'm least familiar with so far. And this tiny little Erd tree here does not have a golden seed by it anymore because I already picked it up. But let's go down a bit over here. How about we travel on through this kind of valley-looking area and see what we find. We have some giant mosquitoes. And whatever that is. Ah yes, a rather large crab. And what do we have over here? Oh, I think that's one of the enemies. Oh no, that's just a big troll. And we have this haunted looking horse guy, who I'm going to try and outrun, as well as a cave system I believe I've already explored. Yeah, I think I know where I am right now. And I'm going to go this way. Seems like the sun is rising. And what do we have here? Another more built-up looking area. Ah yes, I cleared this out yesterday. This is the Shaded Castle, a place full of poison and sometimes very hazardous enemies. But something nice is that you can wander into poison and scarlet rot and hazardous areas like that on your horseback without taking damage because the horse is immune. If you were to walk on foot, it would be a problem though. Let's just go around the Shaded Castle because I have not actually been on all sides of it and I want to see if there's anything interesting. We have some basilisks here, which you might recognize from Dark Souls 1, 2, and 3. They do make a reappearance in this game, which is kind of fun, despite the game not technically being a Dark Souls game. So it seems there is a dead end here. Let's go back around the other way and see if there's anything noteworthy on the other side. Just a big old poison moat. But thankfully my horse doesn't care. Poison doesn't matter. I really do like all these jagged diagonal rocks. They look cool. This area is not the most visually pleasing and relaxing, I'm sure, but it is different. And variety is the spice of ASMR. I don't know. So be it. Let's take a look up here. I believe I've actually checked around this corner here, but I'm not sure if I've gone up that way. But let's double check first. do think I've been over here because these normally have items on them, and it seems there is none right now. Okay, let's just check up there, and then I'll see if there's maybe one or two other places worth checking out in this video without getting too deep into spoiler territory. We have quite a few broken statues over here. I wonder what this is about. Seems there's a rather large enemy and a rather small one coming after me. Seems they're hiding some sort of item. I want to see what that item is. Though there might be an item that they have when I kill them, so I should come back here later. But to keep this video relaxing, I'm not going to get into a fight with them. And I'll try not to get hit. But you know what might be fun? Finishing up this video in the classic Dark Souls fashion by dying. So this video will end when I die. I might make it happen on purpose, I might not. We'll see. But if I do make it happen, it'll be pretty soon, I'd say. How about we check the map and see if there's anywhere else I want to go. Seems I can't open the map right now because I am in hostile territory. So let's get a bit out of the way here. Okay. So I have an idea. How about we go to... Where is it? Oh yeah, it's underground. How about we visit Yes, I think this is it. Yes. The Siofra River, which is a very pretty underground section. It'd be a fitting place to finally die. Look at this. Look how beautiful that is. It's like stars inside a cave. I love it. So to make things a little more dangerous, I'm going to wander around on foot. And what can I find here that will kill me? Well, I see a couple things right now. Would that be... I feel like I want something more eventful. How about I let a giant crab kill me? But first, one last look at this beautiful view. Okay, let's say hi to Mr. Krabs, and not even put up a fight. Hello, Mr. Krabs. Ow. You're not doing very much damage, Mr. Krabs. I am much higher level than I was when I first found this place. Come on, Mr. Krabs. Pick me up. Pick me up, Mr. Krabs. I think I want to have him pick me up. Pick me up. It's funny when they pick you up. Pick me up. I don't know why he doesn't want to pick me up. I guess I'll just get bashed to death. There we go. And there you have it. With that, thank you for watching, and I do hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you'll have a good night's sleep. See you later. Bye-bye.